It's no secret that Disney loves to bank on its successful films. I mean, with movies as legendary as theirs, who wouldn't? But sometimes these sequels don't really live up to the originals. Sure, there are some good ones, but for the most part, these extensions of classic stories just don't really need to be released. Welcome to Trending 10, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 worst Disney sequels of all time. For this list, we'll be looking at any Disney release, be it theatrical or straight to DVD, that continued the story of a previous film and was not really well received by critics or fans. Ready? Here we go. Cinderella 2: Dreams Come True. Kicking off our list is this direct-to-DVD sequel to the classic Cinderella. This movie holds 3 short stories, all of which are boring and completely uninteresting. The first involves Cinderella planning for a party. The next involves Jack, one of the mice, turning into a human. And the last involves one of the evil stepsisters finally discovering love. Really, that's all you need to know. You don't have to watch this movie. Unlike the original, there are no good songs, no pretty art sequences, and definitely no memorable character moments. Bambi 2. Next up, we've got the sequel to the original Bambi, also known as Bambi and the Great King of the Forest. Remember during the classic film, after Bambi's mother is killed and Bambi is taken into the care of the Great King? Well, that's what this movie's all about. Yeah, this movie is about a story that you already know the ending to. The Great King protects Bambi and then he grows up and life goes on. That's pretty much it. Needless to say, this movie is just unnecessary, and it gets hard to get attached to anything that happens because you already know everything that's going to happen later. Plus, it's just a bad movie. The Hunchback of Notre Dame 2. One of the most underrated Disney classic movies of all time is the original Hunchback of Notre Dame. Dealing with some incredibly dark themes like genocide, lust, sin, and the potential evils of religion, it's almost a crime that the sequel is so lighthearted, essentially turning its back on everything that made the original so great. Aside from the animation being strangely low quality and ugly, the story just didn't make any sense, as it took characters from the original and changed them in order to make it a lighter story. Overall, this one should just be skipped. Just go watch the original. That's the one that actually deserves your time. The Santa Claus 3: The Escape Clause. One of the classic Christmas movies is The Santa Claus, in which Tim Allen accidentally kills Santa and is forced to take his place. The sequel, The Santa Claus 2, isn't actually all that bad. I mean, it's nowhere near as good as the original, but it's still sweet and has some magic to it. But The Santa Claus 3 is just plain bad. The story follows Santa as he tries to stop Jack Frost from becoming the new Saint Nick and ruining everyone's Christmas. Or something like that. With forced, unfunny jokes and none of the original charm, this movie should be avoided at all costs. Just go watch the original one. The Jungle Book 2. Why was this movie made? While this movie does get a few bonus points for casting John Goodman as Baloo, pretty much everything else in this movie is just plain wrong. It follows Mowgli going back into the jungle and trying to keep his new human friends out of danger before he eventually discovers that he is indeed human and has to stay with them. You know, that lesson that he learned in the original storybook? I mean, while admittedly the story of the original Jungle Book isn't incredibly complex, the original had lovable characters and great music, and Jungle Book 2 just doesn't. Pocahontas 2: Journey to a New World. Going back and watching Pocahontas today, it wasn't all that great. But the only thing more politically incorrect than the original is probably its sequel. This one involves Pocahontas journeying to England to try and negotiate peace between her people and the explorers. Boring, bland, and pretty much everything you don't want in a movie, the original ending of this flop was actually Pocahontas' death, but that was cut out. Perhaps they should have kept it in. It would have at least made the movie a little more interesting. 101 Dalmatians 2: Patch's London Adventure. Up next is the direct-to-DVD sequel that came out way after the original. In case you don't remember, 101 Dalmatians ended with Robert and Anita wanting to move to a new place to hold all of their new puppies. Well, one of the pups, Patch, wants to experience the world outside of his home after being inspired by a TV show, so he sets out to explore and meet other dogs. Now, while this one isn't too bad and it has a couple of catchy songs, it's just unnecessary and not nearly as entertaining as the original. It sort of just makes you want to go and watch the first one again. Cars 2. The first Cars movie got mixed reviews, with some loving it and some considering it Pixar's first real misstep. Well, regardless of how you felt about the first movie, it's pretty much unanimous that the sequel, Cars 2, is just plain bad. The movie took the character-driven original and turned it into a spy movie, like Get Smart, but with automobiles in place of humans and good jokes. Bland, boring, and uninspired, it's a wonder how we're even getting a Cars 3 after this one flopped so hard. Lady and the Tramp 2, Scamp's Adventure. In this sequel to the classic Lady and the Tramp, Scamp, one of Lady and the Tramp's puppies, gets bored of life at home and decides to set out on his own adventure, where he befriends some stray dogs and gets into a good amount of trouble. Sound familiar? Well, that's because this movie is pretty much the same as 101 Dalmatians 2, and it's not much better. In fact, you could probably argue for hours about which one is worse. But why would you watch either of them? They're both bad, just don't watch either film. Cinderella 3, A Twist in Time. Finishing off our list is this weird conclusion to the Cinderella trilogy. What's the first thing you think of when you hear Cinderella? Well, chances are you don't think of Back to the Future style time travel. Now, someone at Disney thought otherwise. Cinderella 3, A Twist in Time is pretty much a bad ripoff of Back to the Future 2, involving the evil stepmother using the fairy godmother's wand to turn back time into making one of the ugly stepsisters the one with the matching foot, when the prince finally comes searching for his lost love. What follows is a strange, confusing mess of time travel and story rewriting that rivals that of the Terminator franchise. I don't know whose idea it was to make Cinderella into a confusing sci-fi comedy, but it was a bad idea. But alright guys, there we go. That's it for our list of 10 of the worst Disney sequels of all time. Do you think there are some worse ones out there? Be sure to let us know down in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, drop a like and subscribe for more great content. But alright, that's going to be it for this one guys. Thanks so much for watching Trending 10, your guide to what's viral right now.